Okay, good day, evening, nights, whatever. I'm more reading Shifting Melodies. Yeah, we are at, Chapter 3, A Higher Cadence. Naro, along with the deputy, straight looked at Midnight, read the file that she has been given. Well, she hadn't shown much emotion as far as reaction go. Her eyes blazed with righteous anger. So you think you can handle this job? Naro asked. This isn't Cantlot. We can deal with the real problems here. Not some joke jester who got put down by smiles and rainbows. She read about the case already, but the file she held contained great details on the fall nappings that had been occurring for the last couple of months. It just started as a few homeless kids going missing. So at first, nobody blinked an eye. But it soon escalated, as most recently half a dozen foals has been taken from a local school. I'll make sure to find those bastards that did this, she replied. What do we have so far on them? Well, we're guessing the fools are still alive. It's been a while since it all started. We'll yet find a single body. So we're guessing a small smuggling racket, Naro said with her motion on a whiteboard, with a newspaper clipping and a police files. At first the local police were handling it, but it has grown too big, so we're calling in officially. Officially? Midnight blinked. She had caught on what Captain is insulting. You started on this well before, huh? We cannot confirm our involvement, nor that our unauthorized investigation have not turned up. Straight replied. So Sergeant Song will assist us in this case. Count me in, straight and narrow. We'll find these jerks and put them where they belong. She wasn't sure who was behind this, but they were better start praying the maker. Nina spent most of the day stalking the streets and talking to those who might know a thing or two. She now lay in Frederick's restaurant on her head on the table, sipping a cider through a silver-jointed bending straws. What a waste of time. Nobody in this soda either knows anything or freaking cares enough to help. Well, hello again, Rumi, a familiar voice said from behind her. Midnight tilted her head to see a Ledger standing over her. Meh, she grows, going back to suckling on her empty mug. Something is amiss. Even over-observant unicorn noticed. Anything I can help with? Unless you know who's kidnapping a bunch of foes around the city the last few months, she replied as she finally releasing her mug of devoid cider. Fred, refill! Coming up a moment, the Griffin said from the kitchen. Unicorn paused for a moment before Midnight noticing a quill and inkpot hovering in front of her. I'm sorry, I truly cannot help you, the stallion said, as his quill began to deftly defy those words. 8 Brittle, phone napping is planned for tonight. Make it look that you were there by accident. Don't tell anybody how you know. Destroy this note. I wish I could do something to help this fool, but I don't know anything. Uh, I could tell the guard. The stallion said, unearling the last bit, adding the word now to it. Now, if you excuse me, I think I head elsewhere for lunch today. No offense, Frederick, but I think I'm in the mood for chop chop. salads instead. None taken. And tell that cute waitress to drop by sometime, they even said as the unicorn quickly turned and trotted off the restaurant. Midnight blinked and subtly ate a note, grimacing at the taste. Blech! I need something to wash that down, she said, winking at Frederick. He chuckled and put down a cider in front of her, more proofing a menu. If you're hungry, I do serve a remarkable thing called food as well, he joked. Midnight giggled and batted her eyes. I bet you like to serve something else. I'm hungry for something as well, she teased, needing something to distract her mind while Ledger has hasty retreat. She didn't know how or why. But when this was all over and done, that Stellan's going to have a lot of answer for. Yes, but whatever I try flirt with a marine armor. They always claim to be on duty, and they save it for the others, Frederick sighed. Pity that. Aw, you just have to try harder, little birdie, she giggled, glancing to the sky, judging from the time of the sun's position. He seems to have a late patrol tonight. Got me any that could give me an energy boost? I could brew up a mixture of zebra herbal energy drink along with some proper coffee, the griffin replied at the moment. I get you a good. It will get you good for a while. Make it so, Mila said and waved her hoof. Fun games aside, if what Ledger said was true, tonight is going to be interesting. This is stupid, really stupid, colossal stupid, she muttered while walking the narrow street. She mentioned to the captain Narrow that she felt like a night patrol, hoping that some clue would, something would pop up. She may not have mentioned the lead she received from a roomie. Once she was getting close, she spread her wings and wall jumped to the nearest rooftop. Since she had no backup and was up against unknown enemy, the element of surprise would be vital. She didn't have to wait long, as a butler escorting a well-bred-looking filly trotted down the street, walking towards a small carriage. For the foal inside, Mira teased tensed her wing as she looked around, scouting for where the attempt might come from. She didn't have to wait long, as two Pegasus dropped out of the sky and knocked the butler out in seconds. The filly, of course, screamed and ran. One of the assaulters ran after her, while the other went to a large trap-covered object and pulled it away, revealing a wooden crate with air hole punching in it. If Mira had squirted, she could see the glint of metal inside. So a cage within a crate then. She dove out the roof and fell as silently as death, just a whiff. Within seconds she was now hiding in the shadow of a nearby building at the ground level. She waited the other stallion to return. Once the filly was safely out of the way, she was free to take these two down. After a minute or two, the stallion returned with Phil bound and gagged under one wing. You are taking too long, the companion said. Stick around longer a minute after the scream and you'll know someone might show up. Give me a break, she's a squirmer, the other holding the filly said before gently picking her up in a crate. Plus, that intel was off by a few streets. Butler could have given us the right time as well. For all the bits we paid him. Why not knock him out? The first elder agreed, as he moved to the lid on, touching the logo at midnight unknowingly. She has seen that logo before, but where? Well, she could ask these guys about it later. And here my job became harder, since I have 3 idiots to cart off to the cell, she said from behind the first, her metal-clad hoofs already being brought down on the back of his head, Once he was taking a nice nap, she looked at the other. Now, will you come peacefully or painfully? Screw coming with you, the stallion replied, already drawing a knife. I don't come back with filly. I'm as good as dead. Ah, I was told coming with me, an experience you'll never forget. Midnight could. Her wing blades had long reach, and she reacted that this thug had no chance. But he was standing awfully close to this crate, so this direction would be prefer a part of her valor her. So, big boy, you wanna dance? The Pegasus looked from Midnight to the crate for a moment, clearly thinking about something. Hey, wait a minute. How do you just even know we were here? He asked aloud. Guess I'm just lucky, she smiled. Sorry if I don't meet up your expectation. Now, last little boy, drop the knife and come with me quietly, or I will hurt you. No, hang on a moment. I can work this out, he said, thinking aloud to help his brain come to the unfortunately right conclusion. The only ones that knew here were we. There, besides the butler, were people in the office. That means we have a dirty rat. Unfortunately, the stress of thinking so hard had the effect of causing him to lower his knife. Not much, but just a touch. But it was more than enough for Midnight to take advantage. She raced forward, the flat of a blade striking his wing, causing the knife to drop. Even as the stallion let out a yelp, she struck 3 points on his body with a blurred motion. The first struck a nerve cluster that froze the wings. The second struck the neck near his back, rendering the limbs numb and unusable. The third knocked him out cold. Even if he had somehow woke back up, fleeing would be extremely difficult. Well, that was harrowing experience, he muttered to himself, using his knife to pry off the lid of the crate. Seeing the terrified little filly inside, she scooped her out, removing the gag and binding in a flash. There we are, little one. You're safe now. These bad guys will take a little nap. Father is going to fight you when I tell what happened, the filly whimpered. Out of a cannon. Midnight chuckled at that thought. Kids these days are adorable. Well, assuming that is, let's tie these guys up and call my boss. This will take you home and get you some cake, okay? Yay! She perked up instantly. Strawberry flavored? Is there any other kind? She smiled as he cuffed the three to a lamppost. Now, let's get my boss. That could have gone better. While Midnight still felt proud saving that feeling, and learned what she wasn't kidding about the cannon thing. Captain Narrow was freaking pissed. I can't believe you had information like that and went out without backup, without a plan, or a fucking clue, she yelled. The window in her office rattled from the volume. Somewhere Luna Princess felt proud. Look, I don't even know if it was good info or not, Song replied, bracing herself against the verbal onslaught. My source isn't that reliable. You have been in town for 4 days. Not enough time to get the source. Naro continued her tirade. Just where in the Luna Blue Buck did you find out? Like I said, I met them before. Just found a note. Never met them before. I just found a note telling me where to go. I said, now is really all. I really need some sleep now. Nara gritted her teeth so hard that she could have bitten a diamond in half. We are not done with this. But in light of this chaos, we are sure as hell going to finish it. Yes, ma'am. Song saluted and left the office, heading home as fast as he could. You better be there, Ledger, 'cause you have some explaining to do. She entered the apartment building, giving the landlord a brief nod. As she headed upstairs, her hoofsteps became faster and faster as she extended to the stairs. She all but bucked open the door down when she near entered. Ledger, where are you? Right here. He standed up from the couch, sipping a glass of lemonade. No need to shout. How are you your evening? She stumped it over, placing her hoof on his shoulder and pressed her nose against his. Well, aside from saving the life of the most adorable filly, certain considerations have come to light. Her gaze was relentless to bore into his soul. Care to know where they are? Oh dear. He stared with a sigh as his glass set on the table. It would appear that I find out. An accountant who worked for Pegasus Air with a heart. Indeed, imagine my surprise when I find out the Pegasus Air behind all of this. All because some lackey was too lazy to remove a label. She took up a step as she calmed down. And even further surprised when I found out who was on their payroll. She sat back down and poured her own lemonade. It was no hard cider, but it will have to do. So, want to explain why you haven't gone to the police or the guard yet? Because the only greater than toll taker's appetite for money is her appetite for revenge. The stallion responded. I was taking a risk, pointing you towards the side I overheard in the office. But anyone could have heard that, so I'd be safe for a little while. However, a good number of their plans I helped put in motion. I helped them to take them down. She know. And I won't live to see her put behind bars where she belongs. Okay, so he was in a tricky spot. Tell me this, she said. Tell me what you had no idea what they were doing when you're starting that job. And tell me what you couldn't condone it. Of course I didn't know, Lady said with a sigh. I was only a small-time accountant for them to start with. It was only after the attempt of mugging me she started bringing me in. Wondering her request innocently that when I realized something was up and looked into all the things I had to do. He refilled his glass and cradled it to his chest. There are families that no longer have a home because there are casinos there now. The business owners put out of business because you bought the place and turned it into a strip club. And now there are fools being taken and sold into slavery because I helped. If I could, I would melt her bits down and toss her into them. With that, I can see that your promise of threat is a promise more than an empty threat. Midnight Sight is really her liqueur cabinet for something that a little more kick. Look, you're my friend now, and if you weren't, she looked at him with a gentle smile. I'll let you know anyone hurt you. Just say the word, and I'll protect you with all my strength. Fuck that noise, he said, getting into his hoofs. I'm not hiding, and I'm not going quietly. Yeah, I have to be sneaky, but I think you just right. You could dismantle everything I helped put into motion. With that, he started to head towards the study again, and motioned for her to join him. Wanna see what I've been working on? Who's Are Celestia's flanks round as the sun? She smiled, pondered herself, and shot the whiskey. And I can do sneaky, so let's see your plan, Leggy. The unicorn opened the study and showed off every sign of crane's crazy conspiracy theorist only in his case. Instead of a fuzzy picture to go with newspaper clipping and color string around pins, he had pages and pages of account details, meticulously copied and hung up next to revealed stories. Sweet Luda, I almost wish I came in here sooner, she whispered, though I had probably arrested you. The stallion pointed up towards the center of the ceiling, where all the threads came together around one simple note: toll taker. Each one branched off somewhere in the room, darting from one peg to another. In order to get at her, you're going to have to cut off her money. All these, he gestured to the green and gold threads, are her revenue streams. The red and blue ones are various people she has in her pocket. Red for a simple local, blue for someone with actual authority. The major? She actually has the major? Oh, she is good. Midnight muttered to herself, scanned everything, taking all in piece by piece. This would be a lot simpler if you weren't so hard-headed. But I guess it also more fun this way. She knew that Narrow wasn't going to like this, and Ledger would have to give her a damn good reason. You need to convince the captain, though. I was grilled like cheese sandwich today thanks to your little stunt. So she need to be on board as well if I'm going to help. The explanation is simple, Ledger said, indicating the last color of thread. See those black threads? Anyone with black thread, she had something on. And I know what. I'm probably the only one beside her that knows her full blackmail list. He waited to the next peg, in particular, waiting for her to come over and look. Where she did, Binda blinked and looked at her friend. What does she have on you? A family member or friend? Hopefully you never know, he said cryptically responsive. If she goes down, then my secret is stay safe. If this secret one could get you others hurt, she asked wearily. Because I'm undecided on the whole serial killer thing, she added, making a quotation mark with her hooves. The only one it could hurt, it's me. If she decide to stop keeping it, he rejoined. And like I explained, I wouldn't have killed anyone. Your concern is touching, by the way. You know I love you, Song giggled. Still, okay, I need the captain's authorization. I could lose my job or even be arrested for helping without it. Bring her by, but do it discreetly, Ledger said. She's not here, and not for lack of toll taker trying. She's does eye and ears everywhere. Word is she nervously about your roomie with me already. So she should be. Midnight growled. Alright, I get the captain to come by tomorrow. But right now, I need sleep. Been all night with this. She downed her shot and hiccuped. Ah, that hit spot. I put a half day tomorrow. Claiming coming down with a headache at lunch. Ledger responded. Bring her by afterwards. I'll help make some this seem not so crazy. That I can do. Song nodded. She yawned adorably spectral lips together. Sleep? Wanna join me? Ledger paused and forced himself not to shake too badly. Too bad that offer. I think you forgot you are dealing with, he said, only with a slight trembling tone. Best stick to a separate room for my sanity. Fine, but you stubbornly cuddly. But you will submit to cuddles eventually. I hear mine are extra cuddly. She yawned and turned for her room. Good night, Ledger. Sleep tight. You as well, he returned as he headed to his own room. He cleaned up long ago, so all that remained was to go to sleep himself. In moments, he was out like a light. You want me to do what? Captain Nara said that afternoon. Because it sounded like you wanted me to come to your place in disguise. Pretty much, Song nodded. And you can't tell any pony, alright? It's absolutely ridiculous. She sighed and looked at her own decidedly insane bat pony. You do realize how ridiculous this sounds, right? I'm aware that there's a very good reason. Please? Nara's horn flashed as a barrier surrounded the room. Right. Why am I doing this? Why am I even considering doing this? My source knows you and even are being watched, so they are playing it safe. May I explain? Look, it's about what happened last night, and you just have to trust me, alright? Nara let out another expressive sigh. Fine. But if this is a waste of time... Oh, thank you, ma'am. Just be careful you aren't followed. Nara nodded as Midnight left on patrol. She certainly made her life quite interesting since arriving. Right as straight hauled in a few drunk ponies that had gotten into a brawl. Because my life isn't exciting enough, she muttered. Ledger sit at his sweet tea, waiting for his roomie to return as her per agreement. Hopefully with very careful guarded intervention, this nightmare could be brought to an end. And he wouldn't be looking over his shoulder every other day, in fear of being deported back to the lands. Because Toll had decided his usefulness had ended. The very thought sent another shudder through his form as he looked and took a big gulp this time. So naturally he needed leaped out of his skin when the door opened and Midnight walked in. She gave the stallion an odd stare and blinked. A little jumpy, are ya? She mused as shrugging off their demented armor. Ah, so much better. We talked about destabilization of a crime empire, the leader whom holds dark secrets over me. Ledger returned, putting half his empty glass on the table. I would be surprised if anyone weren't jumpy at my situation. Well, you have a point there. She tried to pull off a particular piece of armor. Can you give me a hoof here? This piece is stuck. She motioned at the plate covering her rump with a rather impressive dent in it. What were you fighting? Walls? The stallion asked, lighting up his horn and giving the armor piece a gentle tug of his magic. The piece popped off, revealing an impressive bruise underneath. Changeling combat classes. And those Pegasi don't play fair, Midnight winced as she sat on the couch. So I showed them how I can beat 8 different kind of snot out of them. I found it interesting as many ponies think themselves capable of fighting off a shape-shifting vampiric race. Ledger said with a roll of his eyes. Midnight nodded and gave her wings a small twitch to ease out a few kinks. I was in Cantlot during the whole wedding fiasco. She narrowed her eyes and recalled some of the things she had seen bugs do. I'm one of the few ponies outside the city now that has actually experienced fighting them. She rolled over and lay on her back, kicking her hooves into the air. I don't blame them for what happened really that they were acting out of desperation for their kind. Once again, you think you do. Ledger said, pulling an pamphlet from whatever it stored. Notice who was in charge of the whole fiasco on their side. What about how many of her soldiers were drones? Queen Chrysalis, right? Mina said. She had gotten a brave glance at the Bug Queen when she tried to rescue the Princess of the Elements, and failed miserably. If only Celestia had permitted her to use lethal force. With one mind probably clouded by this garbage, he said, waving the garbage pamphlet around before putting it back. She was able to get in and drag an army of, well, basically slaves, in to take the capital. If not that last-minute effort, she might have been in charge now. If you were to run into a number of intelligent changelings, you might sing a different tune that, oh, yeah, I can totally fight a shapeshifter. Well, Song's ego was suddenly took a tactical blast of magic to her face and died in a horrible death. Well, I could still take him. I'm pretty tough, you know. Fine, Ledger said, smirking. Half of a six-opponent squad have shifted into unicorn forms. They're chasing stun spells, while the other half turned into your mirror image. So what you can't do easily escape. He waved a hoof at her that she know that outlined this scenario. 3 stun spells and 3 look-alike. Song pondered for a second as battle ran through her mind. My armor can deflect basic spells. I could take at least one without feeling the effect. So I used the nearest body as a meat shield to take the first spell. Pivot and vault over the next clone to subdue the second unicorn. And bull rush the third, getting my armor to take the hit. Still leaves 2 clones that I'm feeling good. Since you took 4 of them out, the 2 keep the ratio 1 unicorn, 1 clone of you. And now he's charging a mild shock spell. Later said, actually enjoying this. A shock spell is interesting. However, she mentioned to her blades struck to the ground. Not only do these Thestral benefits the same lightning resistance as Pegasi, I can use my blade to ground myself. Let's say they're a decent level caster, beta or gamma level. It takes 5.5 seconds to recast now. She motioned with a blade detach. These swords can be detached and flown. Granted, I lose my weapon, but I gain a nifty ranged move. And I'm very accurate. Fair enough. You could do that twice. Let's say you manage to nick the horn because he doesn't dodge fast enough. Suddenly, we switch places on you. You still have 1 unicorn and 1 threshold to face, and now you're down a sword. Ledger made himself comfortable, enjoying the simulation they were running. Providing that spellcaster doesn't suffer magical feedback from the disrupt spell. Not sure how different the Link's magic compared to Unicorn. I guess I fall back and rely on my beats to buy some more time until either backup shows up or I take them out. Good call on the backup. The pony mentioned she walked in. Chocolate brown fur, platinum blonde mane, and quite slight behold. The mare was stunningly beautiful. You get 4 points, rookie. Binet looked up and blinked. Captain, ma'am, that's you? It is, she replied, closing the door and dropping her illusion. Confusion spell. Her coat turned soft peach color and her mane reverted back to the usual coal black. And why are you running a changeling combat sim with Ledger here? He knows a lot about them, Mina shrugged. Can't even read the language. That's so, Nara replied with a court tune. Giving the stalling once over. I had a good intent to learn when I found a bit of propaganda from the dark broodmothers of my last date's nightstand. Ledger replied thievery. And thank you for not looking like you're my sister anymore. You could only be so lucky, Ledger. Alright, rookie, where's this source of yours? You're looking at him, Midnight replied simply. Nero blinked and looked back at Ledger. Oh, you had to be kidding me. Nope, Ledger replied with a shake of his head. I had been account for them ever since I arrived. After that incident, they started to making me the account for them. Problem is, if Tolltaker goes down, she's taking me with her before she even hits the back of the jail cell. Alright, I can see how that's a problem for you. Now I rub the bridge over her nose. Alright, put on some coffee and let me get to work. I can do that, Ledger said and got up to the kitchen. How about you show the captain the study and explain why I'm here while I do that. Midnight? Can do, level. Mina set up, smirked at Naro. Welcome, Captain. Care to see the crazy cave? Do I really want to know what you two have gotten up to? She asked dubiously. Ah, nothing like that. Level has a few issues to sort out before any of this happens. At least it's demandable of... Isn't that the damnable griffin? She muttered. I don't think there's a mayor in Las Vegas beside me that hasn't slept with. He's my enemy, Midnight growled. An adversary that I must defeat in an art of flirting. My pride and reputation demands it. Naira took a step back and looked at Ledger. Is she always like this outside of work? Wouldn't know. I've been known her for 4 days, the unicorn stallion said with a smirk. Right. Try not to mess with anything. I just got it all sorted up. All right, Mom. Mina giggled. We won't touch anything. I've been here for less than 5 minutes and I'm so done. Narrow sighed. The room was something else, though. The guard captain had a newfound respect for stallion attention to details. Holy, she even has rules on this body. Even my guards? Oh, this bitch was going down. But not you, Ledger said. Hovering 3 cups of coffee in front of him, he joined the mares. Not because she hasn't tried, mind, but the fact that you're not here is the reason you're in there here. So what's the plan you two cooked up? She asked, snorting in irritation as Ledger floated in some coffee. I can only assume that SWAT force, a contingent of guard, would not be the answer, though. He sipped at the drink with a small blush grazed his cheek. Oh, this was good coffee. We have to cut off her funding first. Ledger said, pointing out the green and golden threads. Greens are things that legitimately owns. Gold are things that she merely presses into paying her tribute. The best way to do any of that. Here's a stallion raised the hoof and brushed the black web of strings. Is to find out a way to distinctly a victim of hers in such a way she doesn't know it was me who told you. Nero stared until she saw a familiar face. Well now, what do we have here? Something up? Midnight pressed to Nero, nodded, pointing at the black ponies. This one. He's the deputy of the LPPD, and the stallion I've known for years. If he's helping her, it's not because he wants to. He got something on him. And he'll know what before I can make a move. He's only one on their decent position. If she loses him, he loses the whole PD, Song pointed out. That's actually an interesting tale. Apparently, he got drunk some years ago and had one night stand which resulted in a fall. Toll taker keeps him pay child support and stops his wife from finding out, as long as no pony in the PD looks her direction. Ledger supplied. To break her hold on him, you probably have to find the mother and kid. Then they arrange a meet-up between the husband and the wife, and the ones he rather stay off hoof length. Damned idiots, Nara muttered. He jumps in the frying pan and I'm the one constantly bail him out. Never knows about this though. She will resolve nod and turn back to the others. Alright, leave it all to me. As a concerned friend who is looking out for his interests. So what do I do? Midnight asked. Got a secret mission? Or maybe spying or espionage? Yeah, Lydia said, looking at her Stanley. Lay low. A lawyer walked to the two of you caught. Midnight. Your description is well known in the company now, and they are probably going to start looking for rats. And I'm not talking about vermins. You go poking any more hornet's nest, Tolteca will not take kindly to it. Let me... Minda pouted. She knew he had a point. She wouldn't want his life to be put in harm's way because of her. Not again. You've done so far, rookie. Naro nodded. You were a dead end to stir things up. Leave it up to us for the moment. Actually, consider she's my roommate still. Ledger pointed out. She's in prime position to come up with plots to undo Toll's plots with me, and then deliver them to you. She can't just participate in any active missions unless she wants to walk off a building with her wings unbound. Oh, that sounds like a riot, Song's deadpan. I can't do it, Captain. Don't leave me alone with one male in Equestria that can't resist me. It's all yours, Levy. Nero actually laughed. Play in the eyes now. She's a collector's item. Ledger shrugged and pointed at Captain's form before she left. Forgetting your makeup, and do make sure to brush your tail before you go out there. Or translated from a code speak. Put on your dress and make sure to lose any tails you pick up. Naturally. Narrow smirked as she waved the spell again. Ah, there we are. Thanks for a coffee, little brother. Anytime he rejoined, taking the mug back. Be careful, the streets are filthy out there. They usually are, Narrow muttered. You all sucks, Song sighed as she poked around at the ground. I outdrank you all, and you all suck. Have fun, rookie. Narrow laughed again, then left the apartment, leaving the two friends to their own devices. Ledger looking at the bat pony, then up to the web of black strings. Shall we begin? He asked. Some looked up, smiled. Cut the black strings one by one. The influence comes undone. A pretty poem, Level said with a smile. Let's see how easy it can actually be done. Yeah, this is looking good. Okay, I have read this long chapter. Holy crap. But yeah, I'm happy reading this and I will continue to do it because I love it. I would try to do at least one chapter a week. Maybe a few in the weekends when I got more time. This is a long story, and it's continuing to getting more and more, including with voices and stuff like that. There even are a side story with all the clop pieces. I'm not going to do those because I don't want any strikes on my YouTube account removing shit. So I will leave the reading of the clops to your own devices. So see you next chapter, maybe even later today. See ya!